Get over here.
Positive thinking people. PTP. Positive thinking people.
I love that. I love that. We on the rights to this. We on the rights to this music. Yes, it's PTP.
Positive thinking people.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Guess what? It's Friday.
It's Friday.
What is it? What'd you call this?
It's date night.
Date night.
With
Lady Z.
and
Sarah.
All right.
I love it. I love it.
Happy Friday, everyone.
How everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a good time, being blessed, being safe, doing what they do. As you know, we always come to you. And when we say date night, could be doing anything, right?
Anything. We could switch up on you in a heartbeat, but it's still date night.
And so that's what we do. We make sure that we do things that's going to empower you, to bring that positive energy to you, and be a blessing to you as well. So we just gonna keep it moving. Go on, baby. What you get ready to do?
Something to read.
What is that?
I have the Ptp Mission Statement I need to read.
All right, go ahead and give it to him.
All right. Our focus is to share the positive and important information to our listeners, focusing on becoming a voice for the surrounding communities. We want to encourage strong networking relationships between the small businesses and the larger ones. Also connecting the communities, hoping to establish good, strong relationships with the I am your supporting neighbors attitude. The People to People podcast also believes in sharing the wellness information to empower those listeners about changing their health and lifestyle conditions. Having our goals to always be in position to receive the positive information, we would stand by our core values. People to people, power to power, positive thinking people. We are the podcast that really matters and stand for truth, equal opportunity for everyone's voice and choice to believe. If I can conceive, then I can achieve it. PTP for life.
Come on now, girl, look. I'm trying to tell you. See, this is why I be having you do the reading, because I just start giving the words backwards and all kind of stuff. But much respect and love, and sweetheart. So, first of all, let me thank you for supporting me, because on date night it's always you and I, and we've been doing this for over 15 years, and it's been a phenomenal thing. And so I'm getting ready to introduce my guest, because it's gonna be a blessing. It's gonna be a blessing after sitting down and we doing this. So, Lady Z, gonna get ready. You can go in.
We're gonna ease on out
hey,
here.
Boo, you can't roll out with just a little bit of love for a brother. Come on now. Thank you, baby. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, baby. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? We are definitely just excited about this evening of how things is going. I had this conversation the other day with a gentleman, and when I tell you, it was so powerful that I just literally said to myself, yo, bro, will you please come in and let's just do this interview as soon as possible. And we have been talking about this, and a lot of y'all already know this, brother. This gentleman is one of the hosts on the Men in the Mirror. Mr. Nate Jenkins is in the building with us today. And I want to say thank you, Nate, my brother, for being here today.
My pleasure. It's my pleasure.
So, with that said, Nate, we had a conversation the other day. We were just talking, and you motivate me. You motivate me. And that's what I like to do, is motivate people too. A lot of things that we talked about was really powerful, just your life itself. And one thing before we even get you going, I want something that was really heavy on my heart when I was talking about encouragement. Remember, I told you we was talking about I was talking about forgiveness and it was encouragement, right? I think that's what I had on there.
Encouragement, accountability.
Accountability,
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so when you broke that down to me, you gave me something a little different. Can you kind of, if you remember the conversation, can you go back and elaborate on when you was talking about accountability versus just what it kind of meant from your perspective?
Okay, yeah. So for me, when we talk about accountability, it's at a personal level, right? And it all goes back to your value system. You know, what do I value as an individual? It seems like I should be in charge of, defined by, and others should have an expectation for me to uphold. That's my accountability, right? The things you can point to me and say, you know, I expect this from you. Then I expect you to uphold it, right? But it can't be a choice that's forced or given to me. It's something that I bring into the room when I arrive, right?
Right.
So if I say I'm a parent, then not only am I accountable for my parenting skills, I'm accountable to my children's behavior as a result of my parenting, even though they have other outside influences and all that good stuff. But my influence as a parent should be paramount, the most important influence in their life. And if I allow something to be greater in their life than myself and the God that we serve, then my accountability is lacking. But when it does lack in them, I need to be able to stand up and say, that's on me. I've never met a bad child. I've met bad reared children. I've met children who come out of bad situations, but I've never seen a child born with horns and a tail. I
How
just
about that?
haven't seen it.
And now I remember exactly. I'm glad you said accountability, but I know exactly what it was.
Okay.
Acceptance.
Acceptance.
Yeah. Yes, that one. That's what,
my thing.
Yeah. So now, come on, go back on that
That's my
conversation we
thing.
had.
Now, an acceptance, it's real. It's not as simple as we may seem, but I consider myself a wordsmith. Now, in what others say a wordsmith is a person who has the ability to manipulate conversations and thus by their usage of words. And it kind of overshadows the listener's current vernacular, right? That's not the wordsmith that I'm speaking of. So more like an ironsmith, a guy who puts iron together and create things out of iron. I try to create a picture by using words.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I learned words from a book called a dictionary,
Come on now, talk to me.
right? So this ain't what I heard, what I thought of, what I mimicked. It's actually what I've read and what others read. And we use these words as it's defined in the dictionary. So I tell people all the time, words are very powerful, but the power is in how you use them.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
So when I think about acceptance, man, you know, what I've learned through my walk of returning back to humanity is that my acceptance is governed, right, by where I am at that moment when acceptance is in front of me, when I have to accept something, right? So if I accept an apology from you, right, am I really accepting the apology, or am I just trying to get past the moment of hurt? Right? So if I'm really accepting the apology, one thing I don't expect you is to do it again.
Right.
But see, I can't control your actions or your thoughts. So that's a burden I can't carry.
Right.
So when I accept your apology, I got to walk away with the thought and the feeling that I've done my job.
Right. Right.
And whatever you do with
You do.
yourself is on you. And also the other part of acceptance is I got to always remember that the acceptance is in me, not in you. See, you don't have to accept me. I have to accept me.
Mm-hmm.
See, my existence don't really bother you as much as it bothers me.
Right.
So when I'm at a place where I'm not feeling good about me, then it's hard for me to even communicate with you or have you understand my position on any topic, because I'm having a struggle with accepting me,
Right.
right? So acceptance is really more so of an inside job, right?
So it's more the acceptance is something you dealing with what is really going on inside of you.
Yeah.
No matter what the situation is. And a lot of people, that was one of my topics that I had when we were talking the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about acceptance and forgiveness. And then when you started breaking it down, I was like, oh man, you know, how I was coming across, I was trying to get people to understand you have to learn how to accept people for who they are.
Here's the issue. In the dictionary, acceptance has a meaning forgiveness has a meaning. They're not two in the same.
Right.
They may ride in the same boat and they may have a relationship. I don't know if you heard what I said.
They may have a
They
relationship.
may ride in the same boat and may have a relationship. So when you break down the word relationship, at the end of the day, it's a ship. It's a vessel, it's a boat that we're all in.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to relate. That means we have to have some commonalities
Mm-hmm.
to exist in that boat.
Right.
So those two words may ride in that same boat, but they two different words.
Right.
See, I can seek and receive and give forgiveness all day and all night. Don't mean I accept any of it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I may seek to forgive you for what you did, but I don't have to accept what you did.
Come on now. There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't expect you. Look, I'm gonna forgive you for wronging me,
Right.
and I'm gonna expect you to respect
Respect
me
me.
enough not to wrong me again in that way.
Come on. Right.
But that brings in an element of fear and choice. That's not acceptance.
Right.
See, acceptance says the action that you did, I recognize it and I understand that it took place.
Right.
But if I understand how you got to that place to be able to do that action, now it'll be more acceptable to my soul and myself. Don't mean I like it. It just means I acknowledge it is what it is.
Yeah.
See, that's the whole thing. The acknowledgement of something being what it is lends me to accept it in its current condition. Not the way I feel about it, not the way I want it to be, not the way I think it is, but how it truly is at this moment.
Right. I actually, when I was having that program and they're talking about acceptance and forgiveness, I wanted people to understand that it starts within, and it's something that we should be able to understand, break it down, and know how to use it to help us in the everyday living. When we accept people for who they are, we forgive them for making mistakes, but it's really
Nah, I'm going to disagree.
okay. Come on, that's why I got you here because I already
Acceptance and forgiveness, they in the same boat, but they two different places.
okay.
Two different seats on the Titanic. Now, I accept you for who you are. That just means I acknowledge your existence, how you think, how you act, how you feel. I accept it. That don't mean I forgive it. I accept it.
Right.
Don't mean I forgive it. That's two different things. Forgiveness is not for you. It's for me. See, when I forgive you for harming me, it releases me from the imprisonment of my emotions against you.
Come on.
Okay? So if you harm me, right,
Right.
and I feel that there's a need for me to forgive you, is it for you or is it for me?
Right. Right.
See, most people think the forgiving is for the receiver.
But it's
No,
not.
It's not. It's for me, the giver.
Yes.
For giving. I'm the giver.
Yeah.
Okay? The forbearance is on me. I'm locked in this anger, this disbelief, this disenfranchisism from your actions of
Okay.
how you made me feel.
Right.
Right? How you made me feel. So we talk about my feelings.
Right. Right.
My
Right.
thoughts, my anger.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm forgiving, I'm the forgiver. I'm giving you forgiveness. But in turn, what I get is solitude and peace. I get released, hopefully. True forgiveness is when I release you and release the anger. Now, here's a kicker. If you want to test your forgiveness, I'll tell you with it. For me as a man, here's the forgiveness. She cheated on me with that guy. And I got a new relationship, and I'm good with it. And I'm going to say, oh, I forgive her. I can say that because I'm safe with my relationship. Did I
Right.
really forgive her? Because the next time I see her with that guy, does my stomach turn?
Yeah. Come
Does
on.
my fist ball up inside?
Right. Right. Right.
Or do I hear that song that reminds us of being together, and I say, that bitch?
Yeah.
Does that rage and all that come back? See, I'm still locked up
Yeah.
mentally.
Yeah.
They done gone on about their life.
Yeah.
I'm stuck with me.
Yeah.
So what I have to do It's process some forgiveness. See, it's not a light switch on
right.
and off. It's a process.
Right.
So first I got to understand where I am with this individual. You still burning and yearning? Have you let him go? Is there some tangibles still stuck?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Some strings still attached. Once I break those bonds and understand whether they exist or not, now I can move into allowing them to be in the space that they're in and process some forgiveness. Now, does that mean I call them and say, yeah, I forgive you for cheating? No, it don't. It just means I release myself from the anger and the bondage.
Right.
And if I do have an opportunity to speak to them or have an opportunity, Mother's Day, send them a little Mother's Day, thank you for my child.
Right.
Okay? That's in the process of forgiveness.
Right.
It ain't a sucker move.
Thank you. I got you.
The sucker move is in holding on that till you take it to the grave.
Exactly.
Because, see, all that life and all that energy you could have had, utilizing that energy that you stored up in anger, could have been for your benefit.
Yes. And that
Right.
let me jump in there because I want to say this because you just solidified some forgiveness that I had towards some individuals whom I loved at one time and who hurt me at one time. And it goes both ways, but I'm talking about what applied to me. And when I realized that I could move on is when I really did forgive them within my heart, regardless of however they took it. And a lot of people carry that they carry the misconception of forgiveness, acceptance, because we're talking about that, in a way where they don't even understand how to process it within themselves so that they can find that peace. And so when you were saying that, I thought about me when many times after some things in some past relationships, I said, man, I was really hurt. But what did I do? I processed it on the inside of me and I let it go because I know it was doing more damage to me than it was to them.
Well, here's another hit. For me, in the process of forgiveness, the burden is less when the burden is shared. If they did something to me, I'm placing all the blame over there and I'm carrying no weight. It's hard for this thing to be resolved. Forgiveness for me happens when I can look in the mirror, like the man in the mirror,
Hey, come on.
and truly ask myself, what was my participation in that?
Come on.
She cheated, but where was I and what was I doing prior to that may have led up to that?
Right.
That may be their behavior. But if that's their behavior, they showed me the behavior well before they did it.
Yes.
I made a choice to be with them.
Yes.
You dig?
Yes.
Or maybe I was not the reliable person that I thought I was being in that relationship.
Come on now. Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't feeding them the food that they desired to eat.
Yes.
Because I ain't always the best chef
Right.
in life.
Yes.
You understand? So when I take some responsibility for a situation, then it's easier for me to get into the process of forgiveness when I own a piece of it. Because, see, if I don't own none of it, I ain't got nothing to fix. That ain't my problem. I don't have nothing to fix.
Before, I don't even want to get out because this is the name of this topic for today is returning to humanity. But I had to bring that up. Before I even go any further, first of all, I got to say happy birthday to my grandson, Monte Jr.
Yeah.
Yes. Happy birthday to my grandson, for sure. Much love and respect, man. Granddaddy overbooked himself and some more stuff. I always blame everything on grandma over here, so I'm going to blame that on her too. But anyway, I love you. I did call and wish him a happy birthday. Also, remember, if you're going to call in, please do, because this gentleman here, you can call in and ask some questions. You're going to get a good answer. I can guarantee you that. I don't even know how to even label him other than a man of his word, a man that stands firm. And in the years that I've known him, that's how I receive you. The number is 703-752-6120. The number is 703-752-6120. Also, I want to do some shouts out to definitely some people that are really, really supporters out there. Beth Roots from Beth Creations. Beth, we appreciate you. Beth came through for us again today. As we was giving out some stuff to somebody who's leaving the location here. So Beth blessed us again. Thank you so much, Beth. Beth Creations, y'all got to follow up with her. I can't wait to get her on the program. Also, I want to say, Mark Direct, bruh, don't forget we're going to get with you. I got you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get with you because we got to get your man in here. I got his picture right here sitting by the microphone. I'm going to bring him on in the house. And much love to, hey, man, I can't do nothing with my one of my dedicated family members, my cousin Walter Shepard. Man, much love and respect to you. I just appreciate you so much. Everybody just tuning in. This is still date night. Lady Z is over there working on the board. I got... and I'm gonna show you sometime. This is how my mind will go. It'll go totally blank. How I'm gonna forget your name while you look? I got Nate Jenkins in the house with me, and this date night still with him too. Cause guess what? He got his lady in the house with him too as well. And so him and also, you know something? I can't forget to do a shout out to Rachel, the Queen. Queen Rachel, thank you to the tech that's sitting at the board, Ehab, who's, you know, this brother is another brother from another mother, and for everybody that's out there. Listen, the reason why I asked Nate to come in, and I appreciate you taking this at the time that you did, is because we were talking about some of the things that you've been through in your life. Mm-hmm. We was talking about, and I'm not going to open up no can of worms. I'm going to let you do that. Okay. But I want to talk about where you returned to humanity. Okay. And we talked about acceptance and we talked about relationships, but what really got me, man, when I was sitting there listening to you, I knew I had something to do because I would have talked to you for a long time just listening to you. But how did you return to humanity? Take me back when you wasn't in it.
Okay. So, you know, the process of returning to humanity means I was once non-human, right? And non-human in my behavior and my actions, right? So it goes all the way back to, and I was talking to a brother of mine today, hope he don't mind me saying his name, Mr. Greg McPhail, one of my idols and business partners. He's come from my same neighborhood as well on Capitol Hill. And we're talking about how we were raised and where we came up. See, I came up early on in a two-parent household.
Okay.
A mom and a dad.
Okay.
My dad was an officer in the Navy. And I was named after him. So I was little Nate, he big Nate, and everything he did, I did. We dressed alike, we went out, we did things. I can remember these things as a young boy because they were very prevalent in my life. Okay. I looked up to my dad, you know, when he put the sailor hat on my head and put his sailor hat on, he was in the Navy, and we walked around the Navy Yard, and people would point, thought it was cute, and so forth and so on. I had my chest out, you know, but when I turned 7 years old, thereabouts, you know, he disappeared. Parents got divorced and all that, and we moved from Philadelphia to D.C. to my mom's family. Didn't know these cats that well. We only saw each other on holidays, that type of thing. But they were living a lifestyle that was quite different from what we were living because we were, you know, starch shirts and get dressed for dinner and all this type of thing. Well, these guys came straight off the playground, washed their hands, got to the table, grabbed the plate, started eating. That was foreign to me. Mm-hmm. You know, they did a lot of other things that was foreign to me, but I felt like I'm here and I got to fit in. Mm-hmm. In the process of fitting in, the guy who came in the door with my mom could not survive in that environment because they were doing a whole lot of other things that were outside of the character that I was raised in. You know, and I try to get too graphic, but they were living a different type of lifestyle. And the great people, love them to death, the salt of the earth. My grandfather was the greatest man I've ever met. Superman, by the way. And but the family business, the family makeup, you know, we were surviving. You know, I had an aunt who died who had like 9 kids. At the same time, my mother who got a divorce with 5 kids, and my grandparents still had like 3 kids in the house. But we all moved into this one house.
What?
Right? On Capitol Hill, right? And the amazing thing about this house, it was really a 2-bedroom house, Rodney, with 1 bathroom. And I looked back and counted, it was 22 people at some form of time living in one house with 1 bathroom. So we worked in shifts, We went to the bathroom in shifts. We ate in shifts. We did, but we was loving. You couldn't touch one without getting killed by all. It's really that simple.
Right.
Everybody in the neighborhood knew it. But what happened as I progressed in life in Southeast D.C., the drug game came in. Members of my family got deep into it, and I went right with them. I remember, we moved out of that house. My mom got her own luxury apartment. We got a 3-bedroom condo over in the projects, 37 Ridge Road, right?
Okay.
So that was our condo, the project.
Right.
Concrete walls, tile floors. And but it was space. It was just me and my siblings. But it was a terrible neighborhood, man. It was rough. And things happened in that neighborhood, unmentionable things, and it just was crazy. So what ended up happening for me, I went through some abusive situations and stuff like that, inside, outside of the home, all that type of stuff. My reign was hard because my mom worked 2 jobs, and she had no cut cards and couldn't miss work chasing behind me and my bad ass because I was a terrible child. Basically, I was just looking for the affection that I lost when my dad left.
Okay.
So I was just cutting up, acting out, doing everything I could the wrong way. Got into every bad situation, every bad crowd, but since I was a outlier, I wasn't like everybody. I spoke well, I read well. My mom used to punish me by saying, go in that room with that Childcraft dictionary set, 26 books. I need you to read them all. So I read every Childcraft dictionary. Then she said, read the World Book encyclopedias. I read every World Book encyclopedia, all 64 or so volumes. Read all 5 volumes of the dictionary. So I became this global bookworm. You know what I'm saying? So when I would talk to people, they would be amazed, especially adults, of the acumen that I had with the word. The Bible, read the Bible. Read the Quran. She just, throwing books at me, And I just became a very learned individual. It served me well in some areas of my life. In some areas of my life, it was a detriment. And this got me into losing my humanity because I made some choices as I got older. I wanted to be like some folks in my neighborhood that I thought were cast above. So I see the dudes out by the old Oldsmobile doo-wopping under the street lights and hand-in-hand drug transactions. They getting money, and we got food stamps. So I figured I need some of that money. So I'm going to go out there and learn from them. And I noticed that every 6-7 months or so, a guy would come back that's been gone. He'd be buffed up with these big Clark Kent glasses on. I said, where you been at, Joe? You went to a spa or something? He said, yeah, I went down the country. I said, shit, I can't wait to go down the country. But see, I didn't know that was Lorton, the jail.
Right.
Down in Virginia.
Right.
See, Virginia to Southeast was a long way.
Right.
So they call that going to the country.
Right.
So I couldn't wait to go to the country. So I did everything I could to go to the country. But when I got in front of the judge, he said, no, we're going to give you a federal tour of the United States of America. You're not going out of the country. Your felonious ass is going to the feds. In and out of trouble. And then I decided that I wanted to be Tony Montana, right? Scarface came out. Everybody wanted to be Tony Montana. But see, I had an advantage. I could speak well, plan well, and was not afraid to speak in front of foreign peoples and things of that nature. So when you turn me on to your plug, I become your distro. Next thing I know, I'm flying overseas, back and forth, just a whole bunch of stuff. And got very lucrative in that game. But then this thing called addiction crept in. So you can't get high on your own supply. And I decided to do that. And I went from a producer to a mad consumer. And in the process of becoming a consumer, I had to lose my humanity and do some inhumane things to keep up my addiction, which meant that I was now living in a more animalistic existence. Because, animals are real simple. When their eyes wake up, it's about conquering, eating, getting what I need to the time my body run out of energy and I go back to sleep.
Right.
Like a bear hibernates in the winter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in this animalistic environment, it was kill or be killed, take, no giving. If I give it to you, it's because I plan on taking more later. So I was living in this animalistic environment. Even though my education and my liquidity, my ability to be a linguist allowed me to get all kinds of jobs. I was a football star, so I was able to go to college, get a little education before I got hurt. All this type of stuff, I put it in my bag of tricks, not my bag of life, not benefits. These were bags of tricks. They were tools for me to consider how I can continue to use. Because as an addict, you use to live and live to use. There's no other thing you're doing. So when I got a job so I can use. And I use so I can get a job. Then I got a job so I can use. And I use so I can get a job. See, I'm in an animalistic cycle. There's nothing humane about being an addict. That is an animalistic environment. And for the addicts that are out there listening today, if you think you're not living in an animalistic environment, just stop for a minute and look around yourself and see where you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because see, in the 4th grade, the teachers used to ask us questions like, what you want to be when you grow up? Nobody raised their hand and said, I want to be a crackhead. I want to be a junkie. Shit, a drunk would be good for me. Nobody did that. Everybody said astronaut, doctor, lawyer, all this other stuff. You know what I said? I want to rule the world. That's what I said. And that's what I meant. And I went out trying to do that. And I ended up having the world just discard me like trash.
Before we, I want people that's out there to really take the time to listen to Nate's life journey, because I just want to let people know I met you over 20-some years ago, and I remember you supporting my production without even shaking my hand.
Yeah.
But donated $1,500 to me. And I asked you the other day that you remember that, and you said, yeah, but that's when I could afford to do that.
Right.
And that's when you was living that life.
No, actually it wasn't.
Okay, then, because I need to, because the reason why I thought that, because I'm just thinking that you did that so freely.
No.
Okay,
no,
come on.
So you caught me at the time where I was returning to humanity.
Okay, all right.
Cause see, prior I wouldn't have gave you nothing.
Okay.
You'd have stuck your hand out and chop you off at your wrist. Cause it was about taking.
Right, okay.
Nothing was about giving.
Okay.
So see, doing my animalistic behavior, I participated in every crime that's in the book.
Okay.
A to Z. You can say whatever those are. I'm not going to incriminate myself.
So, right.
But I had participated in every crime from the major, most felonious, all the way down to the most of misdemeanors. My name was in there. And in that process, a lot of things died, not just people, but things. Like the belief that my mom had in me
Right.
died. The love that my grandmother had for me, it never waned. She always loved me until the day she left here. It's just that the connection between she and I had died because I killed it. So I was killing everything around me as I was being this animal, only thinking about Nate, right? So I remember being incarcerated, and I was so afraid because they said, you're light-skinned with curly hair, oh, they're going to do some things to you. And I said, well, I got that. So when I get there, I'm going to assault some people, they're going to throw me in the hole, and all I need is a book to read, and all that other shit ain't important. So I did that a few times, you know what I mean? And strange thing happened is that, you know, as I progressed in life, the God that I served looked down and saw something in me that I couldn't see or feel in myself. He blessed me with some children, right? And because of what happened to me as a child, I wouldn't wish that on any other child,
Come on now.
right?
Okay.
So in my heart of hearts, I said, man, I got to take care of these babies. These mine.
Yeah.
I don't care nothing about the mothers.
Yeah.
The mothers can go. As a matter of fact, a lot of them did go.
Right.
Left me with the children. Not always because they wanted to. Sometimes it was safer in their life for them to walk away than to stay and fight me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But as these things were transpiring, there was a need for me to stop being this animal because now I got these little cubs I got to raise. And I didn't want to raise them as an animal. Because see, I was the father when I was using who had at the time 3 small kids. I'm talking 1, 3, and 5. Then I had a 12-year-old. But the 1, 3, and 5 lived with me. The 12-year-old, fortunately, was shared between me and my first wife. And I can remember having $20, Rodney. I had $20. See, you can't give a drug addict $20. I had $20. Hustled it up. I don't remember how. But I know that I had just seen the crack man drive down the street. So I paged him. And he hit me back and said, I take short money. But the kids kept saying they was hungry. So we went to McDonald's. And I looked up at the thing and it said Happy Meal, $3 and some change. And I said, I got $20 and 3 hungry kids. And I'm hungry. And it says 4-piece chicken McNugget Happy Meal. So I bought one of them. Yeah, one. And I split it amongst the 4 of us. We all got a nugget, 3 or 4 fries, and I got 3 courtesy cups to break that small soda down because I'm an addict, Rodney. And I had to use. I used the remainder $16 and some change, short money, to go get some crack and do what I had to do. See, that's an animalistic environment.
Right.
But I was calling myself a father. Isn't that retarded?
Bro, it's just so amazing that so many people, as we know today, is people living in that situation.
Yes.
And as you say, if they are, they need to look around and look at where they are at this time so that they can come to
I ain't
some kind
judging
of...
you.
Right.
I can't judge you. I just want you to shine a light on the darkness that you stand in.
And that could apply.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to just
Don't
apply
have to be that. It's in every area of your life.
Right.
Because I'll tell you this. Shortly thereafter, the mom got tired of living that way and took the kids off and did everything, left me by myself. I spent 103 days, because that's the time between my clean date and her clean date, 103 days or so, committing every crime available to me to commit. And at the end of the day, I found myself, who was once a millionaire, sleeping on my mama's floor in a pile of blankets at the door that she had to cross over to make sure I get up and leave when she leaves. Like a dog. I didn't blame her because I had sunk to that level. But I remember I got tired. And the day I got clean, my mom said to me, you need to go get you some help, dude. You need to go where your wife wouldn't got help, so forth and so on. And I played a trick and I said, if I can convince her, I can stay here and continue this animalistic environment. She said, take my car. And I said to her, I can't take your car because if you don't go to work, you're going to get fired. She said, son, if you get clean, I'll quit my job. I don't need a job if you clean. If you become my son again, I don't need to work. And that kind of hit me. And I took her car with every intention of getting clean. But when I started it up, the thing was on E. And I went back and said, your car on E? She said, take this $20 and get some gas.
Come on, man.
You
Come
can't
on.
give a crackhead $20.
Come on.
I coasted down the hill to Benco. Anybody from D.C. know what Benco is? It's Benning Road, East Capitol. Chevron station right there. I pulled in and I seen a little girl that I tricked with because I had a trick habit. And she said, Daddy, what you got? I said, I got $20. She said, I got 10. I know somewhere we can get on for $30. Now, they called the people and they said, be there in 2 hours. They got a bid for me to get clean. I said, all right, that can wait. I got to use. I used. I copped in D.C., went in Suitland, Maryland, got high, did what I did with the young lady. Then it dawned on me, dude, you driving your mother's car. You got to come up with an excuse why you didn't make it to that detox place in Virginia. And I thought, well, if I drive towards Virginia and the car break down, she'll forgive me. I could talk. I'm good with words. I could talk her out of it. Let me back in the house, sleep on the floor. I'm good. I couldn't sleep on her couch because she put plastic on the couch. And I would fuck the plastic up. That's how grimy I was, right? So I got in that car. I went up Pennsylvania Avenue, got on the Beltway, and the needle started hitting tick, 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 tick. And I drove around the Beltway. Then I seen the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. And I said, Lord, don't let me break down on this bridge. And he said, okay, player, I won't. And I got across the bridge. I got to the next exit, and the car started shaking. It was running out of gas. So I saw a little building off the ramp. And I drove down a little winding through some construction and pulled into the parking lot of the building, and the car ran out of gas. I said, damn, I'm stuck in VA, I don't know where I'm at. And a little guy, I'll never forget, came out the building, and he said, you Nate? I said, how the hell these people know me over here? He said, we've been waiting for you. You made it in 2 minutes flat.
Come on, bro.
I looked up, I said, 2 minutes where? He pointed to the sign. It said Alexandria Detoxification Substance Abuse Center.
Oh, my God.
And I said, now the animal in me said, nah, dude, you wrong, man. Something wrong with your watch. Because I had no intention of getting clean. I just wanted to get by my mom that day.
Oh, my
God
goodness.
stopped time for a fool like me.
Come on, bro.
There's no way I left Southeast C Street and Texas Avenue, met a young lady at a gas station, went to Eastgate and Cop, went to Suitland and used, and then drove all the way to Alexandria, Virginia in 2 hours. There's no freaking way possible. It's not possible. But the man upstairs made it so. And I haven't touched drugs or alcohol since. And that was October the 23rd, 1993. So what happened for me that day was a postponement of a funeral, because I was on my way there. I had already been stabbed 40 times. I'd been kidnapped twice. I've been shot twice. I spent 18 months in a wheelchair with my body frozen from the waist down. I still got a bullet in my spine. And I run 4 miles every other day, running and walking. Tell me somebody ain't looking out for a dude. So in return, what do? My whole life was about taking and killing and pillaging. So now I gotta turn it around? Nope, that wasn't my idea. I got a charge in that detox. They locked me up, put me on the insane ward at Alexandria Hospital twice, but the place let me back in. And there is one little psychiatrist there who was writing her thesis to get her PhD. Young girl, little white girl, and she said to me, I want to see you. And I went to visit her, and she said, just be honest. And my mentor at the time told me, just be honest. So they asked me how you feel. I said, I want to kill all you motherfuckers. I want to kill everybody. And I'm going to kill myself. And she dialed 911. And they came with the braces and got me. Took me back to the psych ward. And they say, this dude is homicidal and suicidal. Then we look at his fed jacket and it said he's incommunicable, which means he's not to be trusted in the community of humans. That was my status. So nobody would take me for treatment. No drug place would take me. Even the retarded place down in Fredericksburg, I went in there for the interview, and a dude playing chess by himself, and a lady walking around, knocking her head on the wall, drooling. And the man came out and said, we can't accept you because you're a danger to our community. I looked around and I said, these people is crazy. How am I a danger? He said, man, according to your fed jacket, yeah, we can't trust you in a community of people. So you got to get clean on the street. So the young lady said to me, Nate, just come see me every day, 7 days a week. Virginia only paying for 2 days, the other 5 days on me. I'm going to use you as my research monkey pretty much for my thesis paper for my PhD. I saw that young lady, and I'm telling you, mental health is health. Mental health. Just like you run to the doctor when you ill or go to CVS when you got a cold, get some third flu or whatever. If you ain't feeling good, don't understand how you feeling, There's some folks called therapists, psychiatrists,
Life
community
coach.
support workers, life coach. Anybody in that mental health lane is there to help you. Go seek and find.
Yes.
All that you weak, you ain't a man, you ain't a woman. Black people don't seek mental health. Y'all retarded.
Something wrong with you.
Something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You don't know the truth. You living a lie.
Yeah.
So I saw this young lady for 3 years, Rodney, and she helped me become human again.
Returning
to humanity.
Come on, bro. Talk
Then
to me.
I started not taking and had this feeling of giving is better. It's better to give than to receive. Because see, when I take, whatever I take, I'm going to use up and it's going to be all gone.
Yes.
But when I give and impart something into somebody else's life, as long as they living, my gift is alive. You know what I mean? So when I met you, I was on my second turn as being a millionaire. Because see, being a wordsmith and having some education, I had great jobs. Like I became vice president of IBM, you know, transition manager of Jetronics Global Worldwide. You know, I worked at the White House as deputy project manager in charge of information technology. You know, I had some great occupations, right? Own my own consulting company, all kinds of stuff. So things were just going like this. And when I met you, I had gotten into the music industry, and it went like this.
Yeah.
2001, we won the Source Awards, you know, for the best up-and-coming Southern rap label and all of that. You know, I brought my artists to do your show, and it was just that time. And when you said I got this situation, you know, do that.
And
You know.
I want to say that. That's why the other day when we was talking and I just kind of went and started thinking back, I was thinking, damn, because I remember how powerful your name was then in the music industry and when we was doing stuff, because quite a few people at one of the productions, they was like, oh man, Nate Jenkins. And I was able to say, yo, he just gave me $1,500 toward, this production. And that was one of the best productions I had, because I also had one of my very, very dear cousins, Brenda Massey, who's already transitioned some years ago, who also had blessed me too. But that at that time. But I didn't realize, like, I didn't know that you had went through your life like that, because I didn't know you like that.
Right.
I saw you as a businessman who really cared about people. You was known in the music business, and what really got me was when you that was a contribution to my company at the time, and you didn't ask for a dime back.
No, because that's not what it was about. You know, here's the thing, man. From where I've been to where I am, I've been so blessed. I'm talking about so blessed to where I can feel guilty like I got somebody else's blessings. That don't stop me from asking, because I ask for more all the time.
Yeah.
Okay? Because that's just the human nature. I want more. Excuse me. So, for me at that particular moment, though, Rodney, I was living this wave, this thing like this. You know, I was at that plateau. I had a great job. Like I said, at the time, I was the VP of IBM. My music label had taken off, and Sony was trying to buy it, and all this stuff was going on, and I had some great ladies and gentlemen on my label who are now, household names, and it was just good, man. Because see, on October the 23rd, 1993, everything I owned was on my back.
Mm-hmm.
I owned 2 outfits. I had a gray sweatsuit, a pair of slacks, and a silk shirt, and a pair of ballet shoes. But I had all that on because, see, I had lost so much weight. I checked in at 127 pounds with a 27-inch waist. And I had to have that sweatsuit on to keep them slacks up and to keep my shirt from falling off me. 3 years later, I owned Off the Rack Clothing Company. Off the Rack Records, For Real Records. These are the blessings that God bestowed on me when I started to become human. See, when I became a member of this society that y'all call humanity, some beautiful things started happening. It wasn't a catch up, it was a replacement. It was a place, a restoration to where I should have been all the time.
Come on.
Had I not left humanity.
Right.
Right? So I got these blessings, and one thing that the young lady and I worked on was a saying that I heard, and I grabbed onto it, and I said, I'm going to live by this credo. And the credo is real simple. I ain't going to kill nothing, but more importantly, I ain't going to let nothing die. So anything that's availed to me, I put my hands on, that's around me, that I can breathe some life into, I'm going to do it. And if something's dying in front of me and my input into it can help it resuscitate it for a moment, I'm going to do it. Because I spend so much time killing, taking, pilfering. Man, I'm trying to go upstairs, man. See, I still believe my ticket is punched for hell. I still believe that. But today, I just want them to just hold a reservation for me in heaven, just in case.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my daily journey is a choice. I wake up every day. See, I'm in the blame game, Rodney. I'm in the blame game. This is how I get by every day. See, people say, oh, Nate, you helped this one, you helped that one, you didn't help this one, you didn't help that one. Guess what? I'm in the blame game. I blame everything on my creator. If I had a bad day, dude, what you trying to show me that I need to do better? If I have a good day, dude, what do you need me to do better of and more of to keep these good days coming?
Oh, come on, man. Come
You
on.
dig what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because see, the dude I serve, he a prepaid dude. See, he don't pay me for doing good. I don't get blessed because I did something good. I get blessed because I believe in the blesser.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
I get blessed and let me know that it's some blessings I need to bestow on somebody else. See, when you're human, you're part of a community of like humans that all have a residential God in them. I ain't got to like you, but I got to like the God in you because it's going to attach to the God in me. And we're going to get along all right.
Come on, bro.
You know, so I accept you, and then I can forgive you. Because you can't do no more harm to me than I've already done to myself.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell y'all, God is good. Hey, it is Friday date night. Ladies is in the house. She's over there working the board. We talked about this the other day, just when I was on a phone call with Nate. Me and Nate, co-host.
That man in the mirror.
Man in the Mirror, and which is a very, very, very powerful program that we coexist together, and and I'm just so excited. So when I talked to the wife, I said, I said, babe, you don't mind because I want to ask Nate, could he come in Friday if he'll let me, if he'll come, and so first of all, thank you for just
Thank you for the opportunity.
But I want people out there to understand something. Listen to this program. Cipher the information. Go back and put yourself in his shoes. Put yourself, or no, you ain't got to put yourself in his shoes. Be in your shoes.
Yeah.
Be in your own shoes. But understand about acceptance. Understand about forgiveness. Understand about returning to humanity. What I really like, how you kind of was breaking it down, that you was animalistic. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't understand, for real, we nothing short than an animal anyway.
Exactly.
We do everything they do, except that we have a choice and a voice.
You see, the difference between a human and a straight animal is that will to choose.
Mm-hmm.
We have the ability to process thought, not be given instructions by our environment or life around us. See, my grandfather told me something when I was very young. He said, Nate, you're only going to learn 2 things every day. And I thought life would be very short if that's all I'm going to learn. What would that be, Granddad? He said, you're going to learn what to do and what not to do. But every day you got to make a choice for yourself.
Come on, bro.
What that means in that situation.
The choice. Say that one more time.
What to do and what
What
not to do.
Come on.
And I'm going to give you a prime example. You got a cycle in some families where there's a single mom. For whatever reason, she's single, but she has these men in and out of her life. But she got children that's watching her with these different fellas. Each fella got his own thing, but the thing that's constant in all of it is mom. How she allows those dudes to handle her, treat her, and all that is exactly the way her daughters, whether they like it or not, are going to end up possibly, if they make the choice of what to do and what not to do, having men treat them the same way. Then her sons are going to mimic the men in her life, because these are the examples that they grow up with. But they still have the choice of what to do and what not to do. Because see, when my dad left, he totally disappeared from the face of the earth for me. And I had to make a choice.
Right.
When I became a father.
Yeah.
Do I do what my dad did and disappear?
Right.
Or do I do what my grandfather did and stick and stay regardless?
Yeah.
See, I had a choice of what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
I decided that I'm going to be like my grandfather and stick and stay. But see, we didn't live in the same house, so I didn't have a day-to-day refreshing reminder of what a dad does, right?
Right.
So I was learning on the fly. So as I became more humane, I ended up with custody of all my kids. Today I got 15 of them, Rodney. 10 girls and 5 boys. I can remember being a single dad for 9 years with 6 kids. So hats off to all the single parents, men and women out there. I know how rough it is.
Yeah.
But 2 of those kids I adopted. And they both had mental maladies. I had to go to therapy and doctors every day with these 2 cats and still raise them 4 little girls with no bias. But see, I had to show them what kind of man they need to have in their life by being that man.
Right.
Then I tried to show my sons an example of what a man does in a family scenario. It ain't always work out because they got a choice what to do and what not to do.
And that's something to this day that many individuals out there, children who are grown and have common sense, you can't look back now when you have the choice to make the difference and blame anybody for your actions. You have to take the responsibility of who you are, and now you do the right thing, regardless of whatever your parent did.
You showed me what you showed me.
Right.
And that's my starting point. I'm going to do what I've been shown. But that don't mean that that's the end of the day.
Right.
That's my starting point. If it doesn't produce the fruits that I desire in my heart, then I can make a choice to do something different. But if I don't have any fruits to desire in my heart, I can make a choice to desire based upon getting around others. See, in humanity, we are a collective group of individuals who all have different individual thoughts, livelihoods, and the like. If I keep myself, and this is something I know in the D.C. area, maybe in Alexandria too, in the black community, we kind of stay around our own for comfort and safety. So if I live in Southeast, I ain't going to Northwest. Them ain't my folk. Them ain't my people unless one of my people move up there, then I'll go up there.
Yeah.
But I ain't venturing up there. I don't mess with them Bamas from uptown. And I'm from Northwest. I don't fuck with them dirt-ass roach niggas over Southeast, Northeast, Southwest. Everybody's marginalized. And guess what? It doesn't do us any good, but those who keep us down, our oppressor, they love to keep us in these pockets because if we unite and get together.
Oh, my goodness. Come on, speak.
It's
Come
done.
on, man. Yes.
The game is over.
Yes.
The game is over.
Yes.
Okay? If you ever watch Miss Pac-Man, when you playing Miss Pac-Man and the little men coming, the closer they get to each other, the score gets higher. But what she do? Gobble them up, split them up through the little maze, split them up and gobble their asses up.
Yeah.
But if you let them get closer, the score get higher. See, in the civil rights, we start getting a little closer and the score got higher.
Yeah.
So they start giving us things that allow us to start being petty against each other.
And that's
and
where
separate us again.
That's where we got
They're
lost.
turning us to animals.
Yes.
See, we become less and less humane when we don't care about
About
other
other
humans.
Come on.
See, when the village raised a child, when we was young, if I did something wrong, Miss Bertha chastised me, called my grandmother. On the way down the street, it was an ass whooping waiting for me down there too.
Yes.
Now, you call somebody about this, mind your business. Don't put your hand on my child. You don't own no child, woman. That's a human. You are the vessel that God allowed to bring it forth. But you don't own it because as soon as it gets on its own, it's on its own. You no longer own it. You never owned it before. You was loaned and given the responsibility to raise it. You don't own it. It belongs to the world. Because everything that child's going to do as an adult will affect the entire world.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody just tuning in. You are tuned in here. It's Friday date night. I do have Lady Z in the house. She is over there working the board. This is part of our date night because I know I've been watching over there a couple times, shaking her head and absorbing this information. And I'm trying to tell you, I have Nate Jenkins in the house. This is a man who many times, especially within the last good 8-9 months since we've been doing Man in the Mirror, just in our conversation and some of the people that you brought in as the guests and things of that nature, I was like, dang, this dude, he's handling his business. But what I'm really loving is your return to humanity. We tried to come up with a name
Right.
when we was talking the other day, but after I was listening to you and we came up with, you was like, yo, that's it.
That's it.
Because you was living in that animalistic life. And there's many of us out there that have those situations. Listen to this program. Understand that what we're bringing to the table is so important. Something that you said when you said that when we was in Southeast or Northeast or Alexandria across the bridge or Woodbridge or wherever, when they allow us to get these titles, we be separated. And that's the way that they can keep us beneath certain levels of understanding how powerful we are when we come together. Reason why I'm bringing that out is because people to people is our target is to bring truth. Let's be the voice for the community, being the voice and choice. And listening to individuals like Nate Jenkins, who's going to tell you the truth, who's going to talk about the good side and the bad side. But you gave your honor to Jah.
Yeah.
You gave your honor. That I had no idea that you was going to end up, when you was telling your journey, that you was going to end up at the recovery place when you ran out of gas.
Yeah, man.
Dude, that did something to me. That showed me how powerful God is, especially when they say he takes care of his children and his fools.
Fools and babies.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, man. What I realized in my life, everybody has a mission. Right? Everybody has a gift. Everybody has a purpose. And we go around searching for purposes and gifts and using, misusing them, using them, abusing, whatever. But I no longer search for a purpose in my life. I try to live purposely. So if every day I'm doing something with purpose, something of some substance, I believe that I'm closer to the desire of my God than the desire of Nate Jenkins. Right? Because it's been shown and proven to me that when I go strictly out looking for the things that I want, I usually get them, but I can't hold on to them. The desires of my heart are not always the sustainability in my life. But when I go out and live one foot in front of the other, to the best of my ability, not harming anything, not letting nothing die, participating to the pluses of everything that I come about, going to bed at night with as least regrets as possible, I can wake up to a new day every day.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And when I say a new day every day, some people Nate, why you ain't worried? Well, I get worried. Oh, I get worried. But I'm not going to be worrisome. I'm not going to take my worry and beat you up with it. I'm going to hold on to it until God allows me to have some freedom in it. And he usually does that by connecting me to another human.
Mm-hmm.
See, we are spiritual beings having a human existence. We're not humans having a spiritual existence. We are spirits having a human existence. Because when this humanity is gone, when this body is gone, it's not the end.
Right.
As I believe it.
And I believe that too.
The spirit goes somewhere.
Somewhere, yes.
In every religion and every dialogue, the spirit goes somewhere.
Yeah.
So I understand I'm more spiritual than I am human.
Yes.
This is just the vessel that I occupy for this phase of my life. So that's just my belief. A lot of people can say I'm crazy or whatever. But I'm going to say this, Rodney. Words have power. Understand that the tongue is the most lethal weapon given to man. Those who are mute, who can't speak, learn how to speak with their hands and their facial expressions and so forth, using devices or whatever. But the power of the tongue. See, once it leaves your mouth, there is no return button.
Come on.
This ain't no email you can hit the button and get back. I'm going to say what I meant to say when I said it. Now, it may hurt your feelings. I might come back and say, man, I ain't mean that, but that's some bullshit.
Right.
Because you said it.
Yeah.
Say what you mean what you say. Now, I didn't mean to hurt you as much, but I meant to hurt you.
Yeah.
That's why the fuck I said it.
Yeah. I want don't lose your train of thought, because I told you when you talk and we have conversation, I have a tendency to think about different situations I had to deal with. And me personally, I found myself where I had a situation, someone really, really hurt me, and I didn't understand, and I still don't to this day, but I know that they intended on it. Their intentions was to hurt me because how powerful the words that came out of the person's mouth were. Lady Z, I see you over there moving. Do we got anything that you wanted to share with me real quick?
Yes, I do. Velma Jackson says, good show and lots of information. Rachel Pope says, preaching real facts on humanity. I need the info of his therapist.
Nate is almost like a therapist himself.
Well, actually, I'm a licensed therapist in the city of District of Columbia, and the crazy part about that is I can only provide therapy to those that are on Medicaid and Medicare. Because I'm a lay therapist. I don't have the master's degree and all that, and I'm not fully licensed. But it's crazy on how they will allow an individual like me to provide these services to someone who, is a lay therapist, because it's to the poor.
Well, everything is systematic.
It is, and it's all a part of that one big ass word, white supremacy. We know what that is about. So let's just say this, man. Here's the craziest thing, Rodney. When I first meet someone, a female, anybody that's in my life, intimately or non, they're very engaged by my ability to pontificate, being loquacious. Those big words just means I talk a lot, and I talk about what I know. But then after a while, they get to this envious point where they are like, not as turned on about it. Then they get to this point of anger or dismissiveness when they say, hey, you think you know every damn thing, and or you arrogant as hell. Well, let me explain to you what that means to me. When my confidence runs up against your insecurities, you label it as being arrogant. I just label it as being my confidence running up against your damn insecurities. So I'll check myself to make sure I'm not being in a negative conduit towards you, right, in the things that I say or do. But if you ask me to speak on it, I'm going to speak at the level that I know. Unfortunately for me, and fortunate for the listener, is that my level of knowledge may be eclipsing yours at some times. Because I don't know many people whose parents punish them by making them read whole volumes of encyclopedias.
Right.
I don't know many people whose parents punish them by making them read all the volumes of the Webster Dictionary. I don't know how many people whose grandfather set them down on a daily basis and had the joy of reading the Washington Post from cover to cover every morning as a kid. See, when you hear reading is fundamental, trust me, it's the fundaments of humanity. See, I had to be able to be knowledgeable. So some people say, hey, you think you know everything. I don't know everything. I know everything that's in the 64 volumes of the World Book Encyclopedia, the 26 volumes of the Trailcraft Encyclopedia, the 5 volumes of the Webster Dictionary, the Quran, the Holy Bible, the Catholic and Greek version, the St. James version. I know these things because I've read them. Okay? So, and some other literature. So, because I'm very well versed and learned, doesn't make me a bad person.
Right.
It makes me a resource. And I try to share as much as I can. But a lot of times in my sharing is dogma. Or I can be overbearing and overshare because I'm a zealous when it comes to what I know.
Yeah.
I only speak towards the things that I have knowledge of. If I don't, I'll be the first one to tell you, look, hey, I'm going to go research that. Or I'm going to go get somebody who know that. So we both can enjoy the learning experience in that. Mm-hmm. And some people take that the wrong way. It may come off as condescending. I'm a condescending bastard, I've been told. But that's not my intent. Mm-hmm. It's just my reality. Because I was forced into this knowledge cycle. Because see, in 1973, I was labeled as the smartest kid in America, Rodney. I didn't ask for that label. I just took the test. And came up number 2. The dude who got number 1 was sitting right beside me. When they say pencils down, he was still scribbling and shit, so he cheated. But since we were in the same class, same city, same school, this has never happened before. The FBI got involved, Department of Education got involved. They made us take the test 2-3 more times. I beat him every time. That's just the known facts. You know who you are out there. I ain't gonna say your name, but you know who you are. Doctor. Anyway, so a lot of my friends call me 73 because when I do say some things or we joking, they say, there you go again with this smart ass. I say, hey man, since 1973. But see, after 73, I came into a household with all these certificates and scholarship to Washington International School and all this in the Washington Post and all this stuff. But I wasn't as well received in the household.
With those accolades.
Because they weren't those people.
Yes.
They were hard workers. They were scroungers. They was making about it day by day. And it was nice that I had all these accolades and shit, but I didn't get the parade. I didn't get the clap. I didn't get an extra piece of cake. I didn't get none of that.
Right.
But what I did get was a bag of weed. And I went to the playground with all those documents and certificates and shit and turned all my other friends on the weed and left all that shit on the playground. And when my mom asked me, where are all your awards and certificates? I told her I left them at the playground because I don't care. Don't nobody around here care about them. And that was the start of my animalistic behavior.
My brother, man, how many young people out there, how many people are in situations where they are not aware that even at this moment that they could return to humanity?
All of us. Because if you're a person of color, I'm going to make this blanket statement. If you're a person of color living in America, you've been oppressed. I don't give a fuck if you are Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan, or the dude that's sleeping under the bridge right now. There is no levels that will get you from under the oppressor's thumb. Because if you're in America, that was designed for whites to stay supreme at all cost, then you've been oppressed. You've been relegated to a level of an animal for your existence, because the playing field has never been fair and it never will be. So let's stop with that illusion. We'll get an opportunity for things to get better. We'll get an opportunity to rise as individuals and maybe even as a people. Will it happen in my lifetime? Probably not. I would love it to. But the truth of the matter is, we've been left in an existence of do the best you can with what you got. Right? And the handouts and the assistance that we get are no more than handoffs and put downs. You know, it's just like the welfare system back in the day. We give you money for you and all them kids and give you some public housing. But the moment you let a man move in here and make y'all a family, I'm going to kick your ass out of this program.
Yeah. So now this is where I want to say this in a way respectfully. I don't believe that we would never come from under that oppression. I don't believe that at the end of this world we will not really find our way to become what we used to be. Because I don't think that it was like that all the time.
But let's ask ourselves what we used to be.
Well,
let's be honest.
Let's be honest
Let's
too.
be honest. When you say we,
right?
You put these air quotes up.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we want to attach ourselves to the kings and queens of Africa.
Okay.
Right? We want to attach ourselves to that.
Right.
Air quotes. We do have some DNA and affiliations to our brothers and sisters in the motherland. Motherland.
Right.
But like everybody else, we grew up and we move away. They don't claim us, we don't claim them. But let me clarify this. We are kings and queens within ourselves in our own rights. But in America, we are governed by law and society. That law was created by the lawlessness. The folks who came to America, created this country, were either running from persecution in the countries they came from in Europe, okay? Or they were the downtrodden, disenfranchised, and criminalized individuals sent here as labor, okay? So this whole experiment called America, the governing documents like the Constitution and all that, were actually criminal acts against the King and Queen of England. So we were breaking laws when we were creating these documents. So we criminals. I ain't never known a criminal to make it good on anything other than being a fucking criminal. Let's be honest with that. Now, as we've grown, the people that created this thing called democracy, the principle to democracy is what? The majority rules. Well, at the time, they were the majority when they created it. But as they've opened the gates and needed free labor and brought slaves in and now bringing in brown people from the South and whatever, the majority is now shrinking because they got selfish and they ain't want to have no babies after the 70s. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And our numbers started building. Now we try to mimic them, and we getting selfish in our family and want some riches and shit. We stopped having babies, so our numbers didn't grow as they were back in the 60s and 50s, right? So now the Spanish coming in here with boatloads of babies, still doing what they do. They're outnumbering us. We're about to become a minority in a minority situation.
Okay.
Now let me finish.
Right.
But they're becoming a majority minority. They're becoming the minority over the next 30 years where whites will be the minority, but they'll still run everything because the majority of laws are set up that way. That's why they're taking over the courts and making them very conservative. That's why the Supreme Court now looks the way it looks, conservative versus everyone else. That's why they're, jury rigging all these elections right now, moving lines, putting all the blacks in one bucket. So you're only going to get one representative for all you motherfuckers, and boom. That's why in the 50 states, everybody get 2 senators. We got more people in fucking D.C. than you got in Iowa. Why? We don't even have but a shadow senator, and you got 2. How fair is that? When D.C. was under the control board, do you know 80% of the control board was Southern and Southwestern white senators that ran the appropriations of funds for D.C. after Murenberg got caught smoking crack? That was called the D.C. Control Board.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's be real with it. I'm not saying that we don't have a bright future. We do.
And that whole
But we have to create it and work it.
Okay.
It's not something we can sit around and hope it happens.
Okay. So now, I'm going to speak my piece. That's exactly what I believe. We have to get out. We have to vote. I know that it's by the system. It's all by design to keep us down and separated. But like Men in the Mirror, the People to People podcast, for the people, we are speaking truth. And there's people out there that are paying attention. We're changing the way that we're living, moving in a direction for a brighter tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you something that I may not, because my grandfather, who was born in 1900, used to sit and tell me some stories on this porch in Old Town Alexandria that I did not understand why he could not stand white people. But the stuff that he would tell me, I was like, oh my God. And then when I saw it in the movies and things of that nature, I understood why my grandfather was like that. But my grandfather, I remember some conversation where he was, I don't remember exactly, but it had something to do, we'll never have a black man in power. But we did get Obama in the situation.
But he wasn't in power.
But he wasn't in power. And I understand that. But I'm still saying this. What I don't do, and this is for any individual, I don't submit. I'm not going to put it in my head, and I'm going to tell my grandsons that you can overcome if we come together and lucratively come to start to make these personal changes within our homes, guiding, making sure that we don't allow that animalistic nature to dictate in our neighborhoods. When we change that, we can make the difference. We may not.
So what's the starting point, Rodney?
The starting point is within us.
Let me tell you what the starting point is, I believe.
Okay, come on, talk to me.
Okay, my return to humanity was just what we talked about earlier, acceptance.
Okay.
See, first I got to accept my reality today. When I accept where I am, I can go from it to somewhere else. But when I'm constantly telling myself a lie, then I'm not moving in the right direction. When I'm constantly not believing in the truth, okay, I'm standing still if I'm not moving backwards. So what I try to do with Man in the Mirror, with my other show, Politicking Our Way, shameless plug, Politicking Like a Clock, Politicking Our Way. You can see us on YouTube. All the videos are out there. It's a totally political show from the street corner barbershop black perspective. Very colorful. If you don't like cursing, don't tune in. I'm going to tell you this. When I accept my condition as it is, then I can change it. If I'm trying to change something that I haven't accepted,
right,
I'm really just like a gerbil on the wheel. So let's accept this. Let's accept the fact that the laws are written towards our demise as opposed to our prosper. So if I accept that, then I know everything can be amended, everything can be changed. How do I do that? It's like any good fighter. Only way Mike Tyson ever got whipped is that he got in the ring and he showed his fallacies. He showed where you can attack him. Every war has not been won because they overwhelmed the opponent. They went through their weakest spots. You understand what I'm saying? So when they created democracy, they showed us how to win as a minority turning into a majority. Let's keep this majority rule thing going. So once we become a majority, now we can start making some changes.
Yes.
But we can't make changes if we don't VOTE.
Come on. Okay. There we go.
That's the mechanism
there we go.
That they provided for citizens. They fucked around and let us become a citizen. First mistake. Second mistake was you thought that some of your own kind wouldn't come to our aid. You thought that all whites want to be supreme.
And they don't.
We got a group of whites who just want to
must
be.
Yeah.
They just want to be regular folk. They don't care about keeping us down. Now, in their heart of hearts, if you had to choose between us and them, they're going to choose them. For sure. But in their walk of life every day, they have some humanity. They just want all us to be human. So now you lose in numbers. You following me?
Mm-hmm.
So now you got to accept the fact that we got some help over there. Accept that. All white people ain't bad people. Accept that. Accept the fact that in them democracy, majority always going to rule. So we got to do our best to keep democracy alive, because if they change the system, we go back to square one. Okay? Look at the 13th, 14th Amendment. They gave us some rights, but then they put another clause in there. They say, oh, you got all these rights as a citizen. As soon as you commit a crime, though, you lose them rights. You be turned to an animal.
Again.
We're going to put your ass in a cage called jail.
Mm-hmm.
You become an animal. That's what you do to animals. You cage animals. So they give us an animalistic environment. So we, as a community, has now looked at people in jail as a part of our upbringing, a part of what we do. No, being imparked into animalistic behavior is not what we do. It's not who we are. But they allow us to perforate that in our music, in our movies, in our entertainment. You know, entertainment copies life. Life copies entertainment. You dig what I'm saying? So now when it becomes cool to be an animal, you don't avoid it.
Yeah.
You don't avoid it. Some people even seek it, like I did growing up. Not knowing I was seeking an animalistic environment, not humanity. It wasn't until I went through that I can return to humanity and look back and say, well, God damn, I was once an animal. Okay? So we got to accept where we are. All that, oh, I'm equal to you, and this, that, and the third, that's a theory. Why do we have Black Lives Matter? We got to tell somebody Black Lives Matter? If we was equal, everybody would know it. So that's an indicator right there.
Yeah.
If Black Lives Matter to us, why we can't be a community of black people looking out for the humanity in each other?
Yes, yes.
So do Black Lives really matter? Do they really matter?
In many cases, no.
If they really matter, then you should be able to look at your neighbor, look across the table at your dinner table, and not only see the love of the Creator that created all of us, but see the love and humanity that exists in all of us. You know what I'm saying? So acceptance is the key. I got to accept that this is a lifelong journey in a war. How do I prepare for war in time of peace? Until the war hits my door, I need to prepare myself. I need to get educated. First of all, I need to be educated. Education is the key. Okay? For all you youngsters out there, education. If you don't have a degree, you don't have nothing in this new world. Technology says all those non-education jobs is going away. If I don't have income to feed me and my family, I'm done. I'm at the mercy of the oppressor. I need a handout. How can I get from under the thumb? I get educated and be self-sufficient. Now I get around other educated people. We help other educate the masses. And we bring those up from the bottom. Right? But we got to first accept our plight, Rodney. Acceptance is the key.
All right, hey, Nate. This is so powerful. We down to 1 minute. We got 1 minute left. This was People to People with Rodney Grimes. I had Nate Jenkins in the house with me, man. I mean, bro, you are one phenomenal, brother. I love talking to you.
Man,
we got to do a part two.
Whenever you ready, brother.
I am so pumped about this. Actually, I think I want to try to get somebody else to come in. This is Rodney Grimes with People to People, Power to Power, Positive Thinking People. Don't forget the Cash App is the $ RG 1960. We love the donations. Please look out for us because we're moving forward, trying to make things happen for you and for us. In the name of Jesus, come on now. I'm sorry I have to go there, but I just give praise and honor to this brother here. And I just got to say thank you so much for you coming in.
Thank you.
Powerful show. Yes. My man.
Oh,
Jeez,
love you,
bro.
man. Love you, man.
We got to do this. We got to do this again. What I want to do is I got to get the right person to put right. We got to do this again. I really would love to have a female.
Yeah.
I think that that's going to be real, real powerful. We can get us a strong